116 Hotline.
It's Sadie.
It's Valerie.
And this is Sutana. Welcome back to our podcast. If you are here for your first time, hello. And if you're not here for the first time, welcome back. Today,
we have a special guest.
Give it up for Kathleen.
So tell us your name and how you know us.
Yes.
What's the 411?
It's funny because we just sort of kind of reminisce. So just kind of what the name of the podcast is, 116th, where I was their toxic manager when they were 15 at McDonald's. You guys were my girls.
We were
She taught us
babies.
everything we know.
Literally, Kathleen was like that girl.
Kathleen was the it girl.
You know, when you're young and you're like, oh my god, I want to be like her. That's literally us.
Kathleen for us.
Damn, she living the life.
Yeah, she got her own place. She got man. She's talking
and
ma'am.
I was doing too much. No, but that's I was just thinking, I told you how I was explaining to my husband how I know you guys, and I was like, you don't understand. These were my girls.
We were no babies.
So they were 15 and didn't know other 15-year-old worked like they did. And it was just I love it. But now that we're recording, so I wanted to say that I was so honored that you guys would ask me to be here. And even though I volunteered myself.
We thought about you. You were literally the first guest.
So I remember when you were in your first episode, I think you mentioned my name. But now that we're recording, I wanted to publicly acknowledge, so I love the fact that you guys still have this relationship and this dynamic. I know clearly you're sisters, but you choose to obviously be in each other's life that. But to still have a friend from when you're 15. And so when I was trying to explain to my husband, sort of what your podcast is about and what you guys do, I was just saying, I feel like they're just a very beautiful representation of women in their age group. I mean, they have... Obviously, they share the same cultural background, but really, they are walking very different paths. And
we really are.
You are on such different paths in life right now, and I just think that that's your perspective on things, are represented with that, with what you guys say and the topics that you talk about. So I really love that. I think that's such a. I don't know. I really admire your guys' relationship.
Thank you.
I heard Val say. I don't know if it was the last episode or not, but you were how it is to make friends when you're an adult.
Yeah, it is really hard.
So we were talking about my best friend from when I was 14 years old, but I don't really have a lot of adult friends. Outside, I always say, my husband, you're my best friend. But, and then Jenny, my best friend from when I was a child. But, it is very hard. And it takes work, especially when you have your own kids and your own family. And so I love that you guys do this. This is also something to bring you together too.
Well, that means a lot because, like I said, when we were little, we looked up to you. You know, I used to look up to
you.
Yeah.
I think you girls have a commonality when you talk about especially being women of color, and I'm going to get into that too because I brought this up to my husband too because he's not from Oklahoma, he's not from where we are, so he has no of what things were 16 years ago, 15 years ago here in our area. But I just I champion for the women that are around me, and that comes from I'm that OG trying to give you all the life advice, but it comes from me making a lot of mistakes and learning things the hard way because I was the type of woman, and I'm a Leo, and I always say Leo, you couldn't tell me I was younger. I was gonna do what I wanted to do.
Yes.
And then I had to learn the hard way. So for me, it was let me tell y'all something real quick. Let me save your little hearts for me.
I know, and that's one thing I remember about you is you were very but even before you had kids, you were very because when we met, obviously you weren't a mom yet, but you were very motherly, nurturing,
looking out for us.
Yeah, girls don't do that.
That's what we gravitated towards you.
Yeah. And telling you about our little love quests and stuff like that. And you're
no, let me tell you. No, I remember that clearly because I grew up. My dad, and this is a whole other topic.
Yeah.
The gentleman who I thought was my dad my whole life, him and my mom split up when I want to say it was 7 or 8. He was a drug addict. Him and my mom just, my mom tried. Didn't work out. They separated. I think they tried to get back together. He made his choices. And then my mom got with my stepdad. And my stepdad didn't have children. And so, and this is no shade to him, but I think just the type of person that he was, I almost felt like with my mom had 4 kids, and it was like he got with her, but like we sort of just came along with the ride. So he wasn't really my parent or my father. And so as a young girl, I grew up without a father figure. And I also feel like that made me gravitate towards love or affection or attention from men that were just not it, but I just needed that.
Self-awareness.
Yes. And I look back, I will tell my husband like stories because I have no shame in my game. And some things that you would think you'd hold a little bit closer to your chest, like I tell him because I feel like he's an angel and he wouldn't judge me. And a lot of the times he'll be like, girl, I can't relate. I'm on this one, I can't relate. I didn't have that male role. I didn't have that love. I didn't get that love and affection and guidance from a male figure in my life. And I think I don't know, it just wasn't good, girl. I made some mistakes.
When you're young, I feel like, I mean, you know how they say, like, when you don't have that, then you look for that in somewhere else. Or something else.
In lots of wrong places for me. So that's kind of where my love and guidance for you all was like, no. And we were just saying, when Val was getting ready to marry, I remember Satana texting me, and I was like, no, tell your mom and dad, no, I'll go to your house right now. Like, do you need me to go over to your house? Like, you're like, it's happening already. It's happening this weekend, girl.
It's really crazy because I just had that conversation with a friend the other day about, and she also grew up with that, like a father figure, you know, and I thought about it. Like, a lot of times you hear about boys needing their dads and their father in their life, but what about the girls? Like, it's very important too for a girl to have that father in their lives, right? To show them like what true love is. And we were talking about that. I'm like, in a way, whenever as a girl growing up with a father in my life, in a way he was my first love.
Exactly. Right?
It's just,
it's sort of the blueprint on what you do. And so this is also another thing, like, so with my ex-husband, I have my daughter Gabrielle, who's 9. She is the most beautiful, intelligent. I know all parents just brag, but like she is it, girl. Like I've been obsessed with her since the day I know I was pregnant with her. But she is just the most incredible, smart, intelligent young girl. But when her dad, like when we got a divorce, it came with all these tremendous feelings of guilt and like
I'm sure about
I made the wrong choice, right? And when I sit back, you know, hindsight's 20/20. Like you look back and you're like, damn, I could have saw that. You know, there's a lot of red flags happening here. That you chose to pursue it because you thought for some reason it was going to be different for you.
right.
And unfortunately, right now, he is not an active dad to her. And so but I will tell you, I loathed in that for a little bit. I did. And I think and I know you guys all grew up with your dad in your life, but I think when you don't have that, it's almost like you fantasize of like, I want to be a good mom and I want to have a wonderful husband and I want my kids to feel like we're these great parents and they have a father, right? So when that doesn't happen, it's like, it's truly devastating. But I will tell you this. When my husband and I now, so Francisco and I.
Hi, Francisco.
Shout out Francisco. Literal angel. And everybody laughs, like my brother, my mom, everybody laughs when I describe him like that. But like, he is. And this one of the biggest things I was concerned about is introducing like a step parent to Gabrielle. Because I technically had a step parent and they didn't give me that love and guidance and I know how important that is for a girl to have that. And I just told him straight up, like, listen, this is what's happening. And him and I had like real quick fast forward button. Like we were together, I think like, I don't even know, not even 6 months, and I was pregnant with my twins and didn't know. So it was like
clicked.
It was a whirlwind. It was never the fact that I didn't trust him, his person or his character, but like he was stepping into something that he has never experienced before.
So he's not a father before?
No. So so just the twins are his biological children.
So were you scared of like you didn't want her to go through the same things that you had?
I was just going to ask you that.
Because I would never allow for somebody to treat my child. And I'm not saying that this is what I thought, but I've seen this. Like, we have children together, but I have a child from somebody else. So I was like, I'm never going to allow that to happen because I'm head over heels in love with this man. But like, my kids, I've never experienced a love like them before, you know? So I just told him, like, right away, like, hey, you're not a woman, so you're not going to understand, but you're also not a woman who grew up without a father. And so you're stepping into a position where I'm going to expect a lot from you. I'm going to need a lot from you. And specifically when it comes to like, I shared that with him. I said,
so you guys are like very open.
Hell yeah. Like and this is the one person where you feel like he probably might be looking at me sideways. Like I tell you, sometimes he says, I can't relate, girl. But like, I will just tell him stuff. So my husband was raised, it's technically his stepfather, but just raised, that's the only father he's ever known. And he told me, he was like, I've had the best example from my stepdad, like my dad, his dad. He was like, so I've had the best example, so that's nothing that you're ever gonna have to worry about with me. So I like I told you, sometimes I sit back and think to myself, I have 3 daughters.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a lot, right? But when I'm telling you, like, the universe and the stars have aligned for me with my life, I literally have the life I've always dreamt of. I feel
like Val needs to hear that.
She's
If you would have asked me this 4 years ago, and you would have said, like, could you imagine that you were going to go from 1 to 3 kids overnight, right? But to truly find a man that like loves you for but so when I tell you this, like I love the fact that they always say they put men on pedestals for doing just like what they're supposed to do.
Yes.
So that's not sort of how I grade Francisco, right? I grade him based on like when he's a phenomenal father, as he should be, right? But sort of when I say those things, I mean it in the way of like how he treats me. Right? Like, it's not even like the fact that he's a dad is the most beautiful and like attractive thing like ever, right? But the way that he prioritizes me, like in the way that he cares to know, like, I've always, and you guys know this about me, like I say I'm a Leo, so like I'm a boss, right? Like I know what I want, I know how I want things, and I may ask for your opinion, but if I already know I'm gonna do something else, I'm gonna do it my own way.
Yes.
But when you have a man who, like, you know, in your absence is always gonna make a good decision, who's like a responsible, like they think about you, they're responsible, they like, it is just like, you know, like it's not all on you to be in charge of, although I want to be in charge. But I don't have to be. And there was like an instance where I didn't have to always boss up all the time. It was just like,
but he got your back. Like he got your back. He knows
he's a phenomenal dad, but he's a phenomenal partner. And when I say partner, I mean partner in every sense of the word, but not 50-50, because there are some times when I'm not giving 50, right? Like if he has to step in and do more than that, I'm traumatic. I'm like traumatized from my first experience as a mother. My ex-husband was just not it, girl. Like he... I think just my entry like into motherhood was like really traumatizing, and although like I said, I never questioned his character, it was just if I remembered how difficult that was, and I was like, who's gonna watch my baby?
Like it was a bad experience.
We don't live together, and just all these things. And then once I felt like I started to swallow that pill of like, okay, I'm pregnant, right? Like we're gonna have a baby. Found out we were having twins. Imagine that. I thought I was gonna die. Like we found out 2 days. So it was 3 years ago, 2 days before Christmas, and I'll never forget. We were in the doctor's office together, and it was my original OB that delivered Gabrielle, and she knew. Like she called me with my ex-husband, like, because she knew some stuff was going on, and so clearly when she met Francisco, she knew like how much I struggled at that time with everything that was going on. And so she was trying to be so positive for me, but I remember the ultrasound, and she goes, oh, there's your baby. And she goes, oh, there's your second one. The nurse is like fucking jumping up and down, and I'm all like, shut up.
Like, hell no.
And I was like,
shut up.
Fucking kidding me? And she was like, no. And I swear to you, I did not hear a single thing after that. They kept talking to Francisco, and I think I was in such a shock.
Yeah.
You were in shock. When I tell you, like, I was like, oh, I'm not a lucky person. Like, the stars aligned for me. And sometimes I have to tell myself. And like I was telling you guys before, so when we weren't recording, I was like, I remember I used to say, what have I done in my life to deserve this? When I would go through all like that.
The hardships.
Oh my gosh.
And I'd be like, what did I ever do to deserve this? Why is this? Like, why can I never be happy? Why can't things ever happen for me? And it's like,
you sound like Val.
You sound like me.
Literally. She stays
You literally sound like
literally like every word you're saying. I'm like, that's literally Val.
Living proof.
I know. It will work out.
But I am so grateful, and this is crazy because, like, when I tell you I'm very open with my husband, I'm very open with my husband because we were talking about Gabrielle's dad the other day, and I don't feel like I have to be like, oh, I hate him or F him or whatever in front of him, because my husband is not in any way, shape, or form threatened by him, right? But I told him the other day, like, I know this might sound crazy because I know I share with him all the fucked up shit he's ever done to me and like the things, and he's kind of like, Kathleen, how would you let somebody do that? How would you? And I'm like, I know, I sound so stupid. But I told him, I was like, I don't harbor like any ill will towards my ex-husband whatsoever. Am I disappointed in the way that things happen and kind of way that things are continuing to happen? Absolutely. But if I did not go through that, remember when I was like telling you, I don't know if it was like a self-esteem thing or whatever I went through before, but like everything that I've been through like shaped me, and now I have like the family of my dreams, the husband of my dreams, and he loves Gabrielle. He's the best father to our kids together, and I really just I look back and I'm like, I've been through it, girl. Like I've been through the mud. I threw some tennis balls, and I'm here though. But I'm here, and then I have everything I've ever wanted, and I have somebody that I could be. Like I can tell him probably some of the stuff that you were like, maybe part of you should have told him. I don't like. I just say it because I just expect, and he does. But I expect him to just like he loves me for everything, and we grew up very differently. Yeah. So I don't know about you and your. I mean, I don't know how you and your husband, because I know you guys just recently said that you're Danny's from like a really traditional family, but like you guys are not living traditionally. And I love that for him, for not like
conforming.
Yes. You don't have to do that. Yes. But, and then I know with you done switched it all up.
Yeah, she showed it. She
sure did. I know how it was for you because I never really understood like what was taboo in Hmong culture until you guys explained that to me. Yeah. And sort of like when you get a divorce and you have kids and things like that. You're
basically, like, even now, she's still shunned.
Yeah, I'm the mud.
Frowned upon.
I'm frowned upon. I'm like the bottom of the bottom.
What do they say in American culture? It's like you bring the scarlet
letter.
Yeah. Yes. So she walks around.
I say...
I want to just talk you up for a little bit. So it's not about you finding love or finding the person, but like totally feeling fulfilled. Once you feel completely fulfilled with yourself, about like you need to go on, and then you're gonna be ready for all that. But like it's okay. Sometimes what do they say? You gotta kiss a couple frogs before you get your friends. Kiss a boo.
You may have to kiss many.
Yeah, and that's okay because I have. And
can I just say that I mean I can't really relate with y'all on being a parent, but then I am a teacher, obviously, and I love kids, and I've told them multiple times about how much I love their kids. Like I see them as my actual like nieces and nephews, and I just really really appreciate that you do prioritize that with with your own kids. It comes full circle, especially being from like the teacher point of view. You can tell which kid has like the parent support, and it just helps them so much more in school, and just being an individual and growing up to be a good human being in general. So I truly appreciate that.
So my husband, he grew up in like a really like a strict household. And I didn't really, because ultimately even when my mom got my son, it felt like she was a single mom, right? And so I didn't have a lot of guidance. I didn't have a lot of restrictions. I didn't have
just doing whatever.
Francisco has sort of helped me. I was a helicopter mom because Gabrielle was my only child, so I had everything for her. And whatever, let's go get that cake pop, girl. Let's go to Target. I'll buy a toy every time, because I also grew up as the youngest of four with my mom, and we were really poor when we were younger. So in my mind, I felt like I had to overcompensate for everything.
Okay, that's like how we are. I'm gonna do it
always,
too.
right?
Like
always.
Me too.
And so it took my husband, and this is something we still battle on today, like trying to find that balance. Because I just like, if I don't have to say, I want to go to the drive-thru too, girl. Let's go get a snack after school. Like, I want a coffee while we're at Starbucks, and I want a cake pop. Like, I want to be that. And he's like, that's not something we have to do every time. And I'm like, God, you're so lame.
Like, you're right.
Like, we got the money. Like, we're good.
I think it's just because like whenever we were younger, like we didn't have that. So then now as an adult, you have that money and stuff. So you're like, oh, I want my kids to have that. So let me
ask you this, because this was something that we talked about. So you know how we say like, y'all had like, we just had fire work ethic, right? Yeah. Like we had, so when I first started, so we met at McDonald's, right? And I read or I saw a video somewhere where like there's so many percentage of Americans that like McDonald's was their first job. I don't know if
Yes.
So I became a manager when I was 15 years old. I had the most money than any other 15-year-old. I thought I was it, right? Like, and do you think it's because us like millennial parents, like we try to overcompensate that we're not seeing, because everybody's like, nobody wants to work and this is that. Do you think it's because like I felt like if I wanted to have nice shampoo, if I wanted to buy, I had to have a job, right? Like if I wasn't trying to use VO5 or White Rain shampoo or whatever, like I needed to have a job. If I wanted a certain kind of clothes, I needed to have a job at a very young age. Do you think it's because that's like not that we're overcompensating for those things these days?
Or also like childhood, definitely, because I think like you saying now that you said that you guys grew up and you guys like were kind of poor, that's kind of how we were too. So it's like shit, mom and dad don't have it. We gotta.
I feel like we kind of do, because like the other day it was nice, right? And so I was like, okay, no, not the other day, like a couple months ago, it was nice, and I was telling Levi, I was like, we should walk to the store because it's nice and the store is just right there. And he was like, this is why we have cars, so we don't have to walk anywhere. And then I was like, yes, maybe like we do have like a car and like we can drive everywhere, but like it's nice outside, so we can go outside and enjoy.
When I was your age, we had to walk.
So thinking about that, it kind of makes me think like now, like whenever we do go to the store, I do be buying them toys all the time. So I'm like,
you spoil your kids a lot.
I do spoil my kids. She always tells me, she's like, you need to discipline them more. You spoil them too much. But I'm like,
that's where Francisco came in, and he helped with that. So Gabrielle, at 9 years old, she cleans her own bedroom. She cleans her own bathroom. She folds her own clothes and puts away. She picks up the dog poop outside. Like she scoops it. And I got to be honest, if it wasn't for him, she probably wouldn't be doing that today.
Oh my God.
But I'm the first hater when I see like a teenager that doesn't know how to do laundry.
Hey, that's awareness. Awareness.
Your mama never taught you how to do it. Like, I would have been that mom. Like I would have honestly, if I look back, and I'm being honest, I would have been that mom.
I would be the first. I love that.
I would have been that mom, right? So he is also, because like I said, we grew up very differently.
Yeah.
But he was asking like, what do we think like the reason is for like this work ethic is because there's not a need for it, right? I'm sure if you were to talk to somebody or a family who doesn't have money or stuff like that, you might see something different. But I will always say like that's one of my brags on my mom, like is her 4 kids, like they had a bomb work ethic, but it was because we were poor.
Because we wanted good things.
We wanted good things.
Is that a brag?
Yeah, you can't afford it. So
but my mom is very proud of that to this day. It's like, and I think about it with you guys because I was like, damn. Do they make 15-year-olds work like that anymore? You all work a lot. I don't think that's allowed now.
Dude, I don't think that's legal.
I don't think it's a thing anymore.
I don't think it's legal.
We were 14.
Yeah, I'd be like, can you guys stay later? Can you do like this? And you'd be like, all right.
You know, we were talking about that the other day that we were only 14, 15. We were working
double shifts.
Yes. Like you guys would come in the morning time and I would be like, it would still be like, so I'm like, oh, can y'all stay another hour? And you'd be like, all right. Let me tell our mom. We got to tell our mom.
We were 15, going out to the club and then working at 4 in the morning.
It's the work ethic. But then like I think nowadays, like you said, 14, 15-year-olds, I don't think they have that anymore. But that's why it's so important to teach them that.
Ingrain that
and in them. And it doesn't have to be necessarily like, oh, work overtime and all that. Like, don't just.
I think it's just like Kathleen said. If you want nice things, then you know that you have
to work for it.
Yeah.
So, but I feel conflicted on this too because I was like, you know, at 15 years old, I was about that money. I wasn't about school. Right. I was about that money. I wanted to have my own money. So there's like a negative that's with that too, right? Like,
I
feel like balance with your kids because I was like, I don't want my girl to have to work. You know, I want her to focus on her, you know, her school or her extracurriculars. But then again, also, I don't want her to expect everything from me. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think like part of me too, for me and my children, it's like I want them to experience being a kid. Like I don't want them to have to like.
Do you not feel like we were like? I think when I see kids, I'm like, hell no, we weren't that immature. Like I thought I was so mature.
I know, no,
so mature.
I'm telling you, it's very different with the different what it's called
generation.
Yeah. Yes.
But I think there's something positive about like letting a kid be a kid.
Yeah.
Because I try my best to like Gabrielle's nosy. Girl, she got the best memory and the best ears because she would hear me in another room and she'd be like, who did that?
I know, right? Yeah.
And I'd be like, stay out of grown folks' business. You know? I think it was always told to me as a child, like whatever happens in your house stays in your house, right? Mm-hmm. But I think I try to be a little bit more aware of my conversation. I'm not the best at it, but I try to be a little bit more aware about my conversations because I knew what was going on with my aunt. I knew what was going on with my mom.
Yes.
But I would never dare repeat that to anyone else, right? But so I am a firm believer in age appropriate experiences, right? So I will say this, and this is not shade to anybody else, but like I monitor screen time really heavily with Gabrielle. I've experienced some things in elementary school that, you know, everybody raises their kids differently. And what they're comfortable with their children being exposed to is different, right?
Yes.
We had, so, you know, Gabrielle's 6th birthday was like right when the start of COVID. So she hadn't had like a birthday party with a lot of people. So this past year in March, we invited like 5 or 6 girls from her school. And we did like something cute, like a painting party. This was at our house. But you could tell, honey.
I'm telling you.
And I know you would know.
I'm telling you. You can tell the difference.
And it just made me cringe. Where I was like, hell no. Who is she friends with in school? And I'm not a mom.
Like just the way they
not. So, and I want to preface this with saying like,
right.
Being a parent is really hard. But we had this one girl, little girl in particular, talking about, oh, my mom, can I have, you guys don't have Mountain Dew? You don't have Mountain Dew? And I was like, oh, no, girl, you can have some Sprite. I'm making like Shirley Temples. And she just went on, and kids are oversharers. And you know this, Sadie, because I'm sure you probably hear things all day. But when I tell you this girl was telling her mama's business, she was telling her mama's business. And I was down. My sister, Kristen, she has a hard time with her face. And so do I. She was giving me acting. My mom, my husband, everybody was like, damn, like she's telling her mama's business. And she was like, oh, my mom lets me stay on my iPad. I don't go to sleep till 4 o'clock in the morning, and I just get to drink Mountain Dew at night. And I fall asleep watching YouTube, and then I sleep in the class because.
And that's the thing with kids too. They will tell your business.
So do they do that in class too?
Yes, they do. And sometimes they tell each other, but you overhear it because they're so loud. They're so loud. They don't know how to be secretive. So I know everything about these kids, and sometimes they don't mean to say it. So that's why, I mean, like I said, I'm not a parent, so I can't really give advice. But from the teacher point of view, you got to really watch. And I don't know. There's just so much.
So as much as I try to shelter her, I realize she is going to go into school, and it's not like I don't say shelter her like we're not the Brady Bunch, right? right. What I'm saying is I slip and use foul language from time, but I think the exposure to I love me some TikTok, so I like to watch like these TED Talks on like the effects of social media on young women, like specifically younger teenagers, and they're like, you should never let your child experience social media before the age of 15 or 10th grade, okay? Because the effects on their self-esteem and their
I see that in elementary, and that's
girl, yes, I
where
know.
They have social media,
TikTok, they do TikTok,
shut up,
everything,
5th grade, 4th grade, it's so toxic and it's unhealthy, like you said, because self-esteem. And then they just think that they.
I know, but kids be having social media.
But so when I said I'm a big believer in like age appropriate stuff,
exactly.
So I found myself like when I was shopping for Gabrielle's school clothes, I was like, oh, I don't want to get her any like graphic tees or like babies. And I'm like, not me trying to make my kid grow up. Like if she wants to wear the pink sparkly shirt, like what am I doing? Like what am I doing? And so I have to check myself because I am a believer in age appropriate behavior, but I also am realistic in the sense like she's gonna be around some people that I just can't control. But if Gabrielle can be part of that, I'm like, I can't relate. Like, I'm not going to let me do that. That's okay. Right? Oh my God, and I can imagine what you probably see, Sadie, but like, Francisco has helped me with this too because I feel like I was so busy, right? Like, I was so busy in the previous role that I had with my company that
you don't have time.
Yeah, I just felt like I didn't. And then the time that I was with her and the time that we had, I didn't want to spend it being like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you know? Like, oh, God, and Francisco said, don't ever feel guilty for like parenting your child and creating boundaries. And I was like, I know, but you know, like so right. But I can imagine probably what you see, honey, because what grade are you? 5th grade?
Oh Lord,
that's like they start as early as even 3rd, 4th. Yeah,
3rd.
We were talking about TikTok.
3rd grade.
A lot of like controversies going around that, but then like at the end of the day, it's your household. You like
gotta do what's best.
You gotta do what's best for you. You know, like
and no shame because I will tell you now, being a mom is so hard, and being a parent is and I don't want to say that because I don't want to exclude dads, but being a parent is so hard, and they don't give you an instruction manual when you walk out that. And just because like this stuff, and we're like, oh, when we were kids, we had to play outside. Well, our parents didn't have a fucking iPad to put us on because I probably would have too. Yes. So, like, don't give yourself a hard time, and I'm not trying to give you a hard time. No, I'm just saying, like with what's. I don't know. I feel like we grew up so fast, even without the social media element. We grew up so fast, but like I kind of want to keep Gabrielle her age. You know,
well, that's
like I feel you on that.
Yeah, the craziest thing of all of this is that I really do respect all of the adversity too, because like you said, it literally shaped you to who you are today.
sure.
If you didn't go through all that, like you said, you probably would have been in a different situation, you know?
And
So
I want to be that person with a chip on their shoulder, you know?
Exactly, and I think seeing you in a point of view of an adult rather than seeing you as like a little kid, like through a little kid's eyes, like when we first met, it's like very different and very inspiring because it's like
It's surreal seeing
you went through a
all
lot of shit.
grown adults. I gotta be honest, like, I don't know if it's like you guys experience that with like family members that you haven't seen since you were younger, and then you see them, and the whole time you're like, "Fuck, this is weird." Like,
Yeah.
you're so grown now. It's like we were kids when we started, and now you're adults, and that's kind of a little bit like I love it though. Like I've obviously been watching your journey on social media, and then obviously through your podcast and stuff like that. But it is honestly a little surreal to sit here with you guys as grown up, and you're like, "Can you believe Sadie's a teacher?" And I was like, but I love that. And then Val's like an ICU nurse. Yes. And then, honey, you're like everything.
Yes,
You know?
seriously.
I am so incredibly proud.
Yes.
And you made me want to have Texas Roadhouse so bad. The other day when I saw you in
so
Danny's
good.
video, I was like,
right?
I
It's
gotta
really
go.
good.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
I'm proud of
All
you
right,
guys.
quick question.
Okay,
Yes.
here we go.
This is a new segment called
QQ
with
Kathleen.
Hi.
Okay.
Okay, heels or sneakers?
Sneakers, baby.
Oh, okay.
Target or Walmart.
Don't catch me in Walmart.
And if you go to Target, you gotta at least look put together.
Yeah,
Okay.
not even, and I'll still go there. I'll go to Target in just my leggings and stuff, but I just can't. And you know the Walmart here in West Side, no.
All
And
right,
I'm
unless I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's like you could get a coffee. And
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
It's
All
nice.
right. Rap or Latin music?
Fuck. Okay. So Francisco said, if you could only listen to 2 genres of music for the rest of your life, what would they be? And I said that would be tough for me because I'm old school R&B music. Like I love R&B music, but I love bachata music, which is, I love. So I feel like that's really hard for me. But like, if you were to hit my playlist, you'd be like, girl, like okay, like this is a good, But it's like I don't know. I would say either R&B or bachata music because I really like that. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
What's your go-to Starbucks drink?
So right now it's a pumpkin cold brew. But you know how Starbucks is. Sometimes you can tell by the color. You can tell by the color.
Yes.
Your favorite item on the menu from McDonald's back in the days?
So y'all know I'm gonna do the snack wrap. But, okay, so we just went to Francisco just went to get him something. Do you guys see the prices of it?
Yes.
They ain't no dollar
We
menu no more.
we used to get 2 apple pies for $1.
Yeah.
Like,
Crazy?
He was like, "Oh, the hash browns are $2 and stuff." I said, "You get 2 for $1 back then."
It's
Like that's
crazy.
wild. But and a snack parfait, like I love it.
Oh, the parfait.
I want the cinnamon.
The cinnamon
Yes.
is so warm. And I miss those, the big wraps.
The big wraps, yeah.
What are they called? I
think
forgot
they're just
what
wraps.
Wraps. Yeah, but
I like the Asian chili one.
Yes.
they were so hard
you
to
know
make
what I missed? The saltless salad.
Oh, that was my number.
Yes.
That
Yes.
was
Extra lime.
Yes, and extra
lime
tortilla
juice.
chips.
Tortilla chips, yeah.
Oh my gosh!
So
I remember
good.
Kathleen used to always get that.
Yes, but you know how that's like make her own little.
Yeah.
like,
You
get to do all
if
the
I want
crazy-
my grilled, I'm gonna make my grilled chicken. It's like, yeah, I love that.
That was
Crazy
That was
back then.
good
But the
times.
lime sauce, the lime
Yes.
sauce is so,
So
good.
good.
That's true.
Yeah.
So she's literally a part of our 116 original.
Literally, that's how we originated. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
That's funny. I was thinking of like, what time did I work that actually?
Uh-huh.
I've been through some things working at my life.
I just remember Kathleen being that girl.
Yes.
I just.
Did you guys know that I invited Kathleen to my senior? It was like a girls' senior day thing.
Oh,
where like your moms.
we have to go on the lunch date.
Yeah, it's like a luncheon, and you invite your moms. But then, like, my mom was
I
never
remember that, yeah.
like close to us, and like we
Yeah.
never did those things. So I invited Kathleen, and Kathleen couldn't come, but she ordered flowers to the place.
I
know.
would have forgot about that. that she mentioned that.
I
to me.
literally
my
literally
God.
like want a core memory right there. I'm like, okay, even though she
Aw.
couldn't make it, she still made
so
effort.
that is so
I know. I was like, oh,
Y'all are my
God.
girls. When I tell you, y'all are my
I
girls.
know.
Like I was just
geez.
really looking at. Like I love y'all
Yep.
so much, and shout out to Mai too.
I know she's married now and happy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's so
Are you guys
great.
Facebook friends still?
We are. Yeah,
Okay.
she's out here living. She's in Colorado or
Yeah.
something. There was
She
her
live in
husband.
LA.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Love it.
we saw some times together. Too.
it was
Yeah.
it was the long man.
So I'll tell you, with a mom man. That's good for you, girl. She took me to my first, she took me out with a bunch of mom girls, and then she took me to a house party, sort of with all these guys, and so that was like my first. But we went to this bar that was in a hotel. And then we went to a club. And I had a great time actually. That was like first time.
I trust her. She probably showed you a good time. She probably showed you a good time.
And Mike could drink back. I don't know if she can do it now, but Mike could
back
drink.
in the day.
Yeah,
she sure was.
Yeah,
she was the it girl too. Y'all was like the it girls. That was like when I grew up, I want to be like that.
Oh, we love you, Mike. Yeah, I miss her.
Oh my gosh.
I'm glad she's doing good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here with us.
Yes. Kathleen literally is part of our podcast name, 116. Like literally.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I am like incredibly proud of the three of you guys.
That means a lot coming from you.
And I know we kind of focused in a little bit about like relationships and sort of where mine is, but like I don't want that to be your focus. But if that kind of sort of gives you a little bit of, I don't want to say glimmer of hope, but like insight of like you can go through it and still get to like the place you've always wanted to be. I hope I could share that with you too, Val.
Yes,
absolutely. It was amazing.
My Kathleen years are coming up.
For real. Like manifest that. But it's gonna happen when you least expect it, honey.
Yes.
I'm just not gonna expect anything no more than
it just happens.
It'll just happen. It'll
happen on its own.
It will.
As always, we upload a new episode starting now every Monday at 7 p.m.
Yes. Central Standard Time, just so that we have more time
just
to edit.
for Susanna's sake, because she edits. She edits it all. She does it all, so she needs a little bit more time.
Be expecting 7 p.m. now instead of 2 p.m. on Mondays.
Yes. But it's still Mondays, so you can still listen to it on Tuesdays.
Yes.
On your drive to work, as many of you do. So you guys can follow us at 116 Hotline on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor. Yes. So make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and thank you again, Kathleen.
Thank you so much for coming.
Love you.
Yeah, thank you.
Stay tuned, and we'll see you guys next week for a new episode. Bye.